All right, so this is very interesting. Joe Biden's student loan bailout plan just got whooped in the Senate. It already got whooped in the House. In the Senate, it was 52-46, 49 Republican senators, 3 Democrats, Joe Manchin, Sinema, what's her first name? And John Tester, all running for re-election. I talked to Joe Manchin last night for quite some time. Actually, maybe we want to talk about that. Now, Biden's going to veto it because he's a darn fool. But that's just interesting that, you know, they had really a bipartisan revolt going on. So we can talk about that for a moment. We got Liz Peek, syndicated columnist, Fox News contributor. We've got Guy Benson, political editor at townhall.com, Fox News contributor and host of the Guy Benson Show on Fox News Radio, and Deroy Murdock, senior fellow at the London Center for Policy Research and a Fox News contributor, and me. So I'd say that.
Your name's on the show.
Oh, that's right. Guy Benson, I find this quite interesting. And I find it very optimistic. The tide, can I just say this? You might not have liked the McCarthy deal. I like the McCarthy deal because I think you get 70%. It's a good thing, like Reagan told us. But whatever. There's a conservative thing going on in Washington. It's a response to polls and public opinion and some darn thing, Guy Benson. And here's another example of it. Out of the blue, the Senate is saying to Biden, no, we don't like your plan. Now, he'll veto it because he's a damn fool and he's going to get his butt kicked in the election, just me. What do you think of this?
Well, I think he'll probably get his butt kicked at the Supreme Court on this very issue. So I think sometime very soon you will have 2 full branches of government against Joe Biden on this issue. All of Congress, bipartisan majorities from each house, and the Supreme Court. I don't have a crystal ball, but it seems like, based on oral argument, that's probably the direction things are going because it was illegal. It was massive overreach, and this is what should happen. And I'm glad to see some Democrats coming across on this. I will say my cynical side. John Tester in particular.
I know. He's
For 5 years,
he's the worst.
He's just a Chuck Schumer acolyte with a flat top haircut.
That's right.
But then one year,
he's
like, oh, actually, I'm a moderate all of a sudden. Remember that?
I
had to point that out.
I never interrupt guests, but you pulled my chain. He is the worst. You are so absolutely... Manchin is more or less defensible, except for the Inflation Reduction. Sinema, more. Tester, left-winger up until 3 weeks before the election in Montana.
In Montana, of all places.
Can you imagine
That's what
that?
makes me so crazy.
They have
What's
liberals.
he doing?
Why is he still there?
They have liberals in Montana. No. My wife's family's from Montana. We were married in Montana, blah, blah, blah. They have a lot of liberals in Montana. Unions, they used to carve out, they did a lot of resource minerals, copper, and so forth and so on.
A lot of Hollywood people
all
moved
kinds
there.
of mining. Well, I don't think they vote there, but yes, they're wrecking the place, all the Hollywood liberals. Can I just say, though, Deroy, policy-wise, they should take all of the loans out of the education department. The education department is a far-left socialist rat's nest. That's all it is.
Well put.
And it basically spends most of its time figuring out how to damage kids' education, particularly low-income kids, particularly minority kids. That's what they do there. They sit around, cook up ways to ruin our children. Now, take all the loans out. There isn't one single person in the education department that knows anything about credit analysis or banking. Put it in the Federal Financing Bank and let the Treasury administer it, point number 1. And point number 2, and Liz, I want you to weigh in on this, the biggest mistake was when Obama forbid private student lending.
Yep, that's
because banks may not be perfect, but they know how to read an income statement and a balance sheet either from the kid or the parents who would guarantee the loan. Now, private loans and get it out of the education department.
Most people forget that the student loan program was nationalized under Obamacare.
Yes.
Part of Obamacare, just the national student loan program.
Because they thought they were going to make so much money.
That's right, and that would help pay for all the wacky socialist medicine. And so when people on the left scream about, oh, this awful student loan program, it's their student loan program. It's not greedy bankers on Wall Street. It's the greedy people at the Department of Education running that department. So I would privatize the whole thing, get it back in the private sector. People can judge things like risk, figure out how to collect afterwards. And this idea of, we're just going to waive these debt repayments. I paid my loans off. So is Joe Biden going to give me a nice big fat refund for all the money I paid in between college and probably my late 30s paying my loans off?
Nope.
That would be fair, but I don't think that's going to happen.
So, Liz, there isn't a single person. Look, we spent a lot of time on this in the Trump administration. National Economic Council looked at this upwards and downwards. There isn't a single person in the education department that has ever read an income statement or a balance sheet. Not one. There's
really,
no banking. So wait a second. They're sitting on a $1.6 trillion loan portfolio, which is a serious banking issue. It should be removed.
Yeah, but they don't care about the income statements and the repayment because this is what they expect to do. They expect to have a blanket amnesty every several years to basically wipe out the debt that's been accumulated. And there, in fairness, too, even in the private sector, when the lending was private, no bank sat down and said, you want to be a philosophy major? That's not going to work because here's the expected income stream from graduate students earning philosophy degrees. No one ever did that. Of course, that makes sense, but no one actually has ever done that. I have to say, I come out with Vivek Ramaswamy on this. Get rid of the education department. I mean, I actually serious. I don't really see what the value added is. But can I just add one other thing?
Please, go right ahead.
On this issue of the Senate taking this up and voting, I think that is one of the secondary impacts of what just went on with the debt ceiling. We've had a public discussion about debt and deficits, and American voters are now alarmed about the trajectory of our spending and the fact that basically neither party has been responsible. They are looking for some responsibility. I think the polling shows that. That's why Biden finally capitulated and negotiated.
Guy, to this point, to my earlier point, conservatism is cool again.
I wouldn't go that far. I want to believe that, and I can't think of a cooler crowd than the people sitting around this table right now. But you look at younger people, there's a very serious challenge that conservatives have to market ideas to them. And there are certain, I think, issues where Republicans need to maybe modulate their tone on certain things. But ultimately, what's actually cool and always popular is success and growth and prosperity.
Yes.
And we haven't had a lot of that recently.
No, that's
and
right.
we know who's in charge of the country. And I think at some point, if you can offer, even to skeptical people, a party or at least a leader of a party that people want to follow and say, okay, enough of this stuff. I'm willing to hold my nose or at least give this a shot. That's going to be the key. And if that opportunity isn't staring us in the face right now with this president, then when will it?
No, you're right. If you didn't like the budget deal, the obvious thing is you take what you get this round, elect a Republican Congress and a Republican president. It's not that hard.
Right.
I mean, that's really the solution. But I think conservatism is starting to be cool again.
Well, I did see a poll recently, some real data that high school age boys are breaking very conservative. But high school age girls are going the exact opposite direction. So the gender gap is getting
boys
steeper.
begin to rebel against the fact that everybody's against them?
And they've been held down for so long.
Yeah.
Why aren't high school girls moving towards conservatism?
Well, because everyone is very concerned about the future of young women in our country. That's great. No one is concerned about the future of young men. No. All the programs are aimed at advancing women's in education, in sports, or whatever, and not men. And if you have a son, I think you have to be concerned about that.
Well, there you have it. Going to have to get out of here. We got Liz Peek, Deroy Murdock, Guy Benson.